Hey guys, my name is Kevin Wright, and it's good to be back home in Indiana, so to speak. I grew up in Indiana, as probably a lot of you know. My father is still coaching year 54 at the same high school, which I think that may be a record at any level, any place. And most of my family's here. So got hired last week. I think I was here in Bloomington for 36 hours and went back to South Florida, started recruiting, and then got back in tonight last night, and excited to be here. So, yes, sir.
Jason Jones. I'm happy to be here. I'm thankful to Coach Allen for allowing me to be a part of his staff and being a part of such a great coaching staff. Came from Florida Atlantic University last year. I've been knowing Coach Allen since 2013. We worked together at Ole Miss, and he's a outstanding football coach, but he's a greater man. The way he cares about the players and the things that he's done and the direction that he's taken the program in. I'm just fortunate and excited to be a part of something special. Came in with Kevin. Been here I think 10 or 11 days and got here, did our paperwork, hit the road recruiting, and I think both of us flew in yesterday, and we have a junior day going on right now, and as soon as they leave campus, we'll fly back out to finish up this last week of recruiting.
All right, we'll start with John and then Matt. John, introduce yourself and affiliation.
Yeah. I'm John Blau with the Herald Times in Bloomington. So you talk about your dad, Bud.
Yeah.
So is this a goal of yours to get to the college ranks, or did you see yourself as being a high school coach for a long time, or how did you make this decision, I guess?
Yeah. It was one of those things where I was at Western Kentucky 10 years ago as the offensive coordinator, which is where I played. So after I was at Warren Central, we had great success. Spent a year at Tulsa High School and Tulsa High School and Union High School in Tulsa, Oklahoma. Spent a year there and then went straight to Western Kentucky as the offensive coordinator right as we were transitioning from FCS to FBS for a couple of years, and then ended up going back to Carmel. And so it's been one of those things where got the job at IMG 5 years ago, which is kind of a combination of a little bit of everything from we train 8-year-olds to having the high school team to combine training to NFL guys. So, when Coach Allen called, it was exciting to get back to something at this level, and just going back to Indiana University. My wife graduated from here. My family's here. Both my wife and my family are both here. So yeah, it was a goal, but it was one of those things where it had to be the right fit for the right person at the right place. Because I left a pretty good situation. It's still 75 degrees right now, and the sun's still shining. It was unique because I had the opportunity to kind of build something. Got there when it was only semester 3 of the program, but yeah, this was just a great opportunity. My daughter's she's graduating from IMG this semester, and my son's going to be an 8th grader, so the timing for us was great.
Matt and then Taylor.
Matt Weaver with 247 Sports. Coach, your background and Coach Allen's kind of similar. Both your dad's high school coaches here in the state, deep ties here. How far back does your relationship with him go, and I guess how much did that play a part in you coming up here and taking this job?
Yeah, I mean, it probably goes back that I can even further than I even remember, because he told me he was at Marion High School as a defensive coordinator, I think when I was at Noblesville High School. I just remember when he was at Ben Davis High School, and I was at Warren Central. And so that was a big-time rivalry, early 2000s. And and he's still the same guy to kind of laugh. We used to give him a hard time on our sidelines because we thought he'd hurt somebody jumping around, doing all those things. He's still doing it, but it goes all the way back to that. I think there was a great respect for one another and just a great respect for high school football, in the state of Indiana, and wanting to do something at Indiana University with those types of kids, the type of kids that maybe sometimes are under the radar. Now we just we have a junior day going today, and that's a very, very impressive group of Indiana high school football players, probably as good as I've seen, in 20 years. But we go way back, and we've stayed in touch. And we talked if it was ever a good opportunity, good fit, that we try and get together. And I appreciate him giving me this opportunity.
Taylor and then Tom.
Taylor Lehman with the Hoosier.com and Rivals. Coach Wright, you said that it needed to be the right the right people, the right place. But for both of you guys, what about a Tom Allen-led program made you guys feel comfortable making the move here?
Yeah, I'll go first and let Jason talk. You know, I think the core values and the fact that Coach Allen's one of the good guys in college football right now. You know, and having known him for so long, you know what a guy's about. And then as you follow someone's career and you run into each other, you know, down through the years, you know, either they change as they climb the ladder or they don't, you know. And I've got 3 kids here that played for me at Carmel. I've got a kid that played here for me at IMG. I talk to those kids. It's the same guy, it's the same culture, but now he has an opportunity to do it on a bigger stage. So I think just that, and then I knew a lot of the guys on staff already. Coach Ballou, who's the strength coach, and Dr. Ray, both were with me at IMG, and so that makes you feel good. And then, you know, I run into this guy. You know, we never met. We weren't supposed to know who each other were. And so he came from Lauderdale, and I came from Tampa, and we met in Atlanta. And in an hour and a half, you know, I felt like, you know, he's one of my brothers. I mean, we really kind of hit it off. So I think that's what Coach Allen's putting together. Those types of people, bringing them all together.
Go ahead. Oh, for me, it was I've known Coach Allen since 2012. He was at Ole Miss, and I was at Oklahoma State at the time. And both of us, we recruited the Dallas area. So we always bumped into each other in Dallas, and we were at the same high schools. And when you sit down and you get a chance to talk to him and you get to know him, he's it's like Kevin said, he's a great man. And as a coach, when you have opportunity to work for not only a good football coach, it's a good football coach. There's a lot of good football coaches, but when you have that opportunity to work for a great man, that's you're gonna win football games, and also there's gonna be a family atmosphere where your kids are gonna be allowed to come to practice and be around the players and be around the teams, and your wife. It's like it's a win-win. And I had the opportunity. He actually 2013 was one of the reasons why I ended up leaving Oklahoma State and going to Ole Miss, but worked with him, I guess 3 or 4 years there. I think the world of him, and just like Kevin said, he's never changed. I mean, you see him. 2012, and he's the same guy today. And in the coaching world, just talking, that's what you appreciate as a coach. And I also know a lot of guys on staff. Coach Hurd, he was with us at Ole Miss. Coach Womack was with us. Coach Will Banks, Coach Dwight, and so a lot of guys. I was familiar with a lot of guys. So it's a great situation.
Tom and Pete.
Hey, Kevin. Tom Bruce, Sports Illustrated, Indiana. You mentioned earlier that Coach Allen, you had said if the time is right at some point, but can you talk a little bit more about your timeline for, was this a time where you were going to start to maybe look, or did it just kind of come out of the blue, or where were you at with your whole IMG thing and ready to move?
Yeah, 5 years ago, not many people had heard of IMG football, quite honestly, and I took over for Chris Winkie the third semester of the team. We had 55 guys that just got out of trailers, and so it was an awesome 5 years to be able to be part of something we were able to build on a national level, and really I can walk into about any high school in America and kids are going to have an idea about that. But with my own family, and that was probably the best blessing of all, was having my own kids there and my wife as an administrator there. We're all on the same campus, which, anybody who's, been in the coaching profession knows that sometimes it's tough because you spend so much time away, but we're all right there together. And so last year we started talking about, hey, our daughters, my wife and I, our daughter's going to be a senior, our son's going to be an 8th grader. If we're going to make a move, next year would probably be a great move if the opportunity is right, because we're in a really good situation, where we were at. And, everything just dominoes just kind of fell when Kalen got the job at Fresno State. And, we talked about it, and we decided they'd finish up down there, and then we'd come up here. And honestly, I'm not sure who's more excited, my wife, who's an IU grad, or myself, and she's got more red than I ever had in my closet. and but I'm gaining a lot quickly. But so the timing had to be right, the fit had to be right. So if it was going to be a place to go, because there's a whole lot of great high schools in America, and you gotta love coaching high school football. It's just a different age group, and but at the same time, having been in college and hadn't at Western, haven't had that opportunity, and being at a mid-major where you're trying to build it, you kind of wanted more. And so to me, what better place than Indiana University? And Coach was just talking about, how long it's been since we won a Big Ten championship. I mean, I believe we can do it, and to me, that's part of it. I've had too many guys tell me in my high school career, when I went to Warren Central, they said, you can't win at Warren Central, yada, yada. Well, we did, and so I think same thing. I believe in his vision, and that's why I feel like this is the right timing and the right place, and excited to be here.
Pete, and then Kevin.
Jason, Pete DePremio, IUHoosiers.com. Two-part question. One, in the time when you work with Tom, anything in particular you learned from him? And then the second part is, in terms of attributes, what you're looking for from safeties.
Well, one of the things when I work with Coach Allen, the biggest thing you learn that he is passionate. He's passionate, and every day when he comes to work, he's full of energy. You see him on the practice field. He's bouncing around, and like Coach like Kevin said, he'll get excited, and I've seen him like grab guys, tackle them, and jump on their backs, and coaches, and things like that. And he brings that energy every single day. I've seen him really pour into the lives of his players. When we were together at Ole Miss, had a linebacker that was a good player but was struggling with some things. And I've seen Coach Allen just put his arm around him and bring him into his office and just work with that young man, and his whole life changed from the time he got in as a freshman until he left as a senior. And so that's one of the biggest things that's the biggest thing that I always remember. And as far as from a safety standpoint, you want athletic guys that can run. You want guys that are physical, that doesn't mind coming down, mixing it up, and making tackles. Of course, you want, length is always good. If you can find a guy 6 foot or better, 90 pounds to 200 pounds or so, and a guy with a high football IQ. Our safeties they're like the quarterbacks of the defense, where, they line up and they help everybody else get lined up. So they make the checks, they direct traffic, and make all the adjustments. So those are the things that we're looking for as we're out recruiting and trying to find the right guys.
Kevin.
Yeah, Kevin Brockway, CNHI. Question for Kevin: the recruiting ties that you developed in Florida, and Tom considers that state really important. How much is that going to carry over, and is that necessarily going to be part of your territory, or how much are you going to be recruiting the state, you think?
Yeah, I mean, I think I'm blessed, and maybe a little unique because you live in Southwest Florida for five and a half years. You create relationships, and quite honestly, we had to create relationships just to get games at IMG. So whether it's be Southwest Florida, Miami, Jacksonville, I know a lot of those folks, and that was really the first place I went. I went right back down there because that's home for me right now. But at the same time, coaching at Carmel, coaching at Warren Central, places like that, I think I have some pretty deep ties here in the state. So hopefully, we can have a great mix, which I think is kind of what Coach Allen sees. I mean, if you look at the roster, you've got a good mix of Indiana kids, Florida kids, and then a national mix, which is what you're seeing, I think at the Power 5 level all across the country. And the neat thing is that you get one or two guys that are from a certain region. With social media, those other kids, those recruits right now, they know them. So I can go in there and Southwest Florida and throw out Jamar's name who went to Sarasota Riverview, and then they all know him because of the social media. So if you can bring in one or two guys, that really helps it. But knowing the coaches, knowing the people down there, especially from that I-75 corridor from really south of Tampa all the way down to Naples, that's going to kind of be my area in South Florida. But excited about that, and excited to come back up here. And the other area besides the Indy area will be Cincinnati, and then I also spent a year at Louisville Trinity way back when, and so I'll kind of use that triangle when I get back up here as well.
Taylor and then John.
Coach, just the way that the IMG program is ran, you know, the infrastructure that goes along with that, and being the head of operations there, how does that help you with being a college football coach, I guess?
Yeah, I know a little bit what Coach Allen's going through, you know, and how valuable, you know, I think his time is, and how much you have to rely on your assistants and the people around you to do their job, you know, and to do it well. You know, even more than when I was the offensive coordinator at Western Kentucky, I think being at IMG and running, you know, you're running a football team, but you're really running a business. Like I said, we ran camps for kids from ages 8 all the way to guys that were coming back from the NFL to train and so on and so forth. So, you know, I think it helps a lot in how you're able to view things from a head coach's view, but it also helps a lot because, you know, I think they had a statistic in the last 3 or 4 years when our senior class graduated, we would have had it all gone to one school, it would have been a top 5 class 4 years in a row. So you handle a lot of different types of kids from all over the country, really internationally. We had kids from Canada, we had kids from Europe, which we have those types of kids here as well. But I think, you know, being able to manage personalities, know what the expectations are, and just kind of be able to put all that together, and it really helps. I mean, and it was a great stepping stone to get to this. But, you know, I see Coach, and he's going a million different directions, and I know that. And it's nice to just be able to step back a little bit and say, okay, I think I got 6 tight ends in my room that very first day. I was looking around. This isn't bad. You know, this isn't bad. But you know, it's you build on every experience. You know, you build on every experience, and being at Warren was an experience, being at Carmel was an experience, being at Western Kentucky was an experience, and that's just the life we live. And you know, Jason will tell you the same thing. I mean, every experience kind of prepares you for the next one. You know, I think that's just what God does. You know, He prepares you for the next experience with your current experience. So don't be in too much of a hurry to get to the next one, because there's usually a whole lot of things you can learn at the current one.
John and then Matt, last one.
Jason, I think you've gone to bowl games pretty much. Maybe one season you didn't go to a bowl game when you were a coach. So, what have you seen in the programs that you have been at, and why have they been able to be successful? And why do you think this is a program that's in position to, you know, continue to do things like that?
The biggest thing that I've seen in the programs that I guess I've been a part of, that been able to go to bowl games, is it's a team, and everybody buys into the team. There's no, you don't have a lot of guys chasing the individual goals, you know. And so if you put the team first, the individual goals will, I mean, you'll get your individual goals as the team wins, and that's the biggest thing that I've been a part of, the teams that's been successful, and that's the thing, and that's what I see here. You know, just being around the guys and talking to the guys here. There's no egos. Nobody's trying to like push themselves or promote themselves over the team. They want the team to. They're more concerned about the team being successful and the team doing well, and I think that's because of, you know, like I said, the foundation that Coach Allen has created, and that's what he preaches, and that's why we're going to end up being successful.
Yeah, last one.
Coach Jones, you mentioned you recruited the Dallas area at Oklahoma State. What other areas were you kind of your areas, and which ones of those do you think you'll be in when you're here in Indiana?
So here I'm gonna have Orlando. So Orlando is gonna be my area, and also Nashville. Coach wants to get. He's done a great job in Orlando. I was in Orlando last week, and just in Florida in general. When you go through the state of Florida, every high school player and coach knows about Indiana. So it is. I mean, being able to go in there and especially with the season that they had this year, it's a huge advantage, because now you have guys, you know, as you're going into the schools and you're calling and you're talking to players on the phone, they can't wait to get up, come visit campus during the summer and the spring. And also I have Nashville. Nashville is only, you know, 5 hours away, and that's a area that even when we was at Ole Miss, we were successful, where we had some players that was on our team and ended up being really good players. So that's an area that coach wants to try to get into. And because it's 5 hours. You can hop in the car and drive over and and be back in the same day if you want. Last week I drove over and I think it took me 4.5. And so, but those are my two main areas that I'll be recruiting.